Hello, the topic of my presentation is Team Lab Borderless. Now, I think this is a quite unusual name, so I have to probably break it down a bit to tell you what is Team Lab first, and then what is Borderless. So Team Lab is actually an art collective in Japan, and specifically they blend art and technology because their members are either digital artists, they're programmers, or they're architects. As a programmer myself by trade, I'm always quite enamored by the fact that they could use, or someone could use coding, their skill in coding and engineering, to create artwork that really captures the audience mind. So Borderless is actually an installation art that is in Japan. So it's a permanent art installation. It's found in Odaiba, which is inside Tokyo, or a prefecture inside Tokyo. And it opens daily, and so you have to, for me myself, I was there earlier in last month, and you have to go there very early and to queue up, and it's actually a very large space. It's about 10,000 square feet, and within that they have their installation art. So just to give you a brief idea of where that is, this is kind of the map of Japan. And if you actually zoom in, you actually see Tokyo, and then finally it's in a building called the Mori Building, which is where they host the Digital Art Museum. So a couple of highlights before I go into details of what you can actually find there. They have what is called an ever-changing environment, which means when you're walking around in the exhibition, you actually see artwork that travels across rooms. So it's motion art, and so you actually see them being projected on screens or on semi-transparent glass, or it could be just lighting effects, and you see the concepts or the characters move between rooms. So if you just leave a room for a couple minutes and come back, you actually see a different installation. The second is the blending of art and technology, which I talked about, and so this whole concept is sponsored by Epson. So there's a lot of projectors that's being used. So as part of this class where we talk a lot about presentations and whatnot, I think this is kind of the ultimate level where you're using a lot of artwork, using a lot of technology, using a lot of seamless blending of projections to achieve kind of what you want to do. And finally, I think the world themselves are interactive, so they put a lot of sensors around in the exhibit. So when you're walking up to certain things, when you touch certain things, it reacts to the audience, and it brings a level of interactivity to the artwork. So you're not just sitting there enjoying that. And so before I want to dive into kind of the different aspects of the exhibit, I want to just play the video from the actual art installation, which you get an idea very quickly of what it means. So this is kind of the place when you first enters, and you could actually see it's projecting a lot of images onto surfaces. This is a glass installation that the bulbs themselves are changing colors, uses a lot of glass and whatnot. This is also a projection that you could actually stand inside it, and you could actually see that. And yeah, the artworks are moving around in different rooms, and you could follow them, and it's quite amazing. I think you really need to go there to kind of experience it. And again, just lots and lots of projections, and people really enjoy. I think the first 10 seconds you walk into every room, you kind of just are amazed by just the sheer amount of work, amount of effort that is put into delivering the experience. And I specifically chose 3 rooms that I will talk a little bit more about. And so, as I said before, I was there last month, and it was kind of my last day in Japan. I kind of wondered what I would be doing, and I kind of stumbled upon the idea. People have been telling me to have to go check it out, and I'm very glad that I did. So the entire installation is called Borderless Worlds, and as I said, it uses a whole bunch of mirrors, it uses a whole bunch of projectors, uses music, and also scent as well. So these are photos that I actually took in the exhibit itself. So on the bottom left, that's kind of the level of projection is on the floors, it's on the ceiling, it's on all of the walls. And the larger picture in the middle, you basically see people, standing on what looks like a waterfall, but, all of that is obviously, created with projection. And in this particular image, you see myself, in front of mirrors. in front of other projections, and it's quite an amazing experience when you see things, and all of it is moving, so it's not static. And as you could imagine, a lot of the artwork is actually programmed because there's just so many of the artworks in so many surfaces. So there's just not a lot of manual. That's not manually coded. All the animations, a lot of them is just programmed. So the artwork themselves just knows where to go, how to actually create the effect that it's happening. Thanks for spending the time, and I really hope if you're watching this that you get a chance to go visit. Thank you.